Jay Lane.
What is up?
Now, Jay Lane, I summoned you on a Friday night, and I really didn't want to interrupt you and the lovely Wendy. Were you spending time with Wendy, by the way?
Yes, watching the opening ceremony of the Olympics.
Yeah.
But luckily, in this day and age, you can just pause it and pick up where you
Yeah,
left
well,
off. So.
I hope you do know that. That's why I check with you first. I hope you do know that. If you told me you were busy or you were doing something, we would have done this at another time.
Yeah, no, it's all good, man.
Okay, Jeff, I have to address something because here's something that I've learned over my years in the business. Okay, bro, when I don't address something immediately, all of a sudden it becomes the truth. And especially when it's something coming from the WWE because they have the platform they have. Bro, so all of a sudden, if they get the platform and it gets out there to the WWE universe, and then, I don't respond at all, then Russo's guilty because he didn't say anything. So, I've learned, bro, it is very, very important when something is said that is 1,000% untrue, nip it in the bud and discuss what the truth was.
Yeah, and imagine if you were able to do that back when all this stuff started, but you were busy working, of course. All these urban legends and these myths, 99% of them aren't even true, but we're hit with those on a daily basis from people that don't know, that are ignorant to the actual truths because they've been force-fed so many things, whether it's WWE, whether it's the dirt sheets, the revisionist history that wrestling is so fond of these days, and a lot of it has to do with you.
Yeah. And you know what? Here's the thing. I don't care if people don't believe it or not. Okay. Because it doesn't freaking matter to me. But what matters to me is if Triple H is going to open up his mouth and spout off at the mouth about me, about something that is not true. Okay. Then I am going to get in Triple H's face and say, bro, you know what? I'm not calling you a liar. But bro, your memory is not correct. And I don't know if it's an attempt at revisionist history or I don't know if you just don't remember. But I remember, bro. I would remember things. And here's why I remember, Jeff. This is an absolute shoot. I guess Triple H, was on some talk show or something, and he made the comment that, Russo knew how to start a story, but he didn't know how to end one. Now, Jeff, let's just take that right there. Jeff, my time in the WWE, how many separate stories do you think I wrote?
I couldn't count.
I couldn't count either, bro. I mean, every week we were starting stories, ending stories, starting stories, beginning, middle, end, starting stories, ending stories, starting stories, ending yours. The Rock and the Corporation, Mick Foley, Dude Love, Austin McMahon. It goes on and on and on. There was always a beginning, a middle, and an end. But Triple H made the statement, I knew how to start stories, but didn't know how to end them. Okay, bro? And he cited an example of back in October 2nd, 1999, bro. Okay? I guess there was a pay-per-view in England, and it was called Rebellion. Now, Jeff, it was a pay-per-view in the UK. It didn't air in the United States. It was solely in the UK, and it also aired from what I understand, was Canada. Okay, and the incident I'm hearing about is supposedly like Davey Boy Smith, the Bulldog, threw a trash can against the wall, and the trash can somehow ricocheted and hit Stephanie. Okay, and from there, Stephanie got amnesia. And Triple H is claiming that me and Ed wrote that because we didn't know where we were going with the Stephanie test angle. So we needed to buy ourselves some time. So we did that spot where Stephanie got amnesia, where it bought us time to figure out what we were going to do.
Now, I remember somebody had asked about if we were going to review that in our Attitude Era run, and Ed had said to them, you guys didn't write that. It was over in Europe or
Yeah,
whatever. You
it
guys
was
didn't
a
write
house
those
show.
anyway.
I
Yeah.
mean, Jeff, that's the equivalent of a house show. It wasn't on TV over here. We wrote all the TVs and the pay-per-views in the United States. That was a house show. So, Jeff, I'm reading this, and I swear to you, Jeff, it's the first time I'm hearing of this. Like, I didn't even know there was any kind of a storyline with Stephanie getting amnesia. I didn't even know they did anything like that. So, when Triple H is saying that, I'm like, wait a minute, bro. Like, this is the first time that I'm hearing this. Okay, bro, Ed and I knew all along where we were going with the Stephanie Tess storyline. It was never in question. Our plan all along was for Tess to stand her up at the altar. That was the plan, and we were going to make Tess a heel, and Tess was going to have an issue with Shane and the whole family. That's where we were going. We never wrote a story. We didn't know where the thing was going, and I've stated that before. I mean, people have asked me before, where were you going with that? And I've said in the past, he was going to stand her up at the altar because, Stephanie was a babyface at that time. So I'm reading this today about Stephanie getting amnesia because we didn't know where we were going and we needed to buy some time. And I'm like, bro, that is just not true. So, Jeff, sure enough, I do my research, and that's the thing. I want to get my dates correct, okay? This pay-per-view in England only, never played over here. That's why we didn't write it. The date of this, Jeff, was October 2nd, 1999. It was a Saturday in the United States. Do you know where I was October 2nd, 1999?
Atlanta.
I was meeting with WCW. The very next day, Ed Ferrara came in. So that weekend, while this house show, bro, I never even heard of Rebellion. While this house show was going on in the UK, Ed and I are in freaking Atlanta, bro, making a deal with WCW. And Jeff, that entire week prior, we were writing Monday's show. We were writing the show that was at the Meadowlands. I remember exactly the show was going to be in Jersey, that Monday. We had worked on that show all week long.
That was the show where they changed your finish to The Rock and Chris Jericho, correct?
Yeah, exactly. And that was October, it was the second, third, October 4th. Should have been a Monday. We were working on that show. Jeff, we never wrote a freaking house show. We only wrote what appeared on television here in the United States. So, Pat Patterson would book house shows. Jim Ross would book house shows. Bruce Pritchard would book some house shows. So, Jeff, what I'm assuming happened is they did the gimmick thing with the Bulldog, and what it looks like was like it kind of ricocheted off of something and hit Stephanie. That was probably an accident, Jeff, and they probably used that as some kind of an amnesia angle once Ed and I left till they figured out what they were going to do.
Yeah, and I was just looking it up now because I don't remember this, and all the things I'm seeing is that it was the UK pay-per-view where that happened. So I don't even think they showed the clip of that on Raw or anything in America.
Yeah,
I think that's the only place it aired.
So obviously, bro, when that thing aired, and if that incident happened, they found out right after that Ed and I were gone. Okay, bro? Nobody knew what our plans were for Stephanie and Tess. Because, me and Ed knew. We weren't there yet. We weren't at the finish line yet, bro. We were still telling the story, but we both knew where we were going to go. Bro, I don't remember or not if Vince McMahon knew. I don't know, but, we never really shared that with anybody because we weren't there yet. But for Triple H to say, oh, Vince could start stories, but he didn't know how to close one. And here's an example. The story with Tess that he wrote an amnesia angle to buy him. Bro, that's just a lie, man. That's just a blatant lie. And I'm sick and tired of people like Triple H spouting off at the mouth, saying I was responsible for things when I wasn't responsible for them, bro. If I would have done that, I would say that, yeah, that's why we did it, bro. But I swear to God, this is the absolute first time I'm ever even hearing of that angle. And Jeff, if it were important, either Ed and I would have went to the show. Neither one of us were in the UK. We were in freaking Atlanta. That's because it was a house show, bro. That's all it was. We didn't write freaking house shows. So I'm just, I'm not going to sit here, bro, and let Triple H blow this stuff out his ass and sit here and not call him on it and not challenge him on it like he's right, because he's dead freaking wrong.
Yeah, where was the filter on that one? But you can do a quick Google search. I just did. Rebellion, UK, Stephanie, British Bulldog, trash can. Every report I just looked at, it's the UK only pay-per-view Rebellion. So the facts are out there. And I had thought that maybe I was wrong, but I had thought at the end of September you guys had already left, but the news didn't break.
I thought so too. I could have sworn it was the end of September, but then I went to my Wikipedia, which I don't know is right, bro. But my Wikipedia says that we left on, let's see, the October 5th, which would have been a Tuesday. We gave our notice that Sunday, not that Tuesday.
Do you know who Mike Mooneyham is?
Yeah, I know of Mike Mooneyham, yes.
Longtime wrestling columnist.
Yeah.
I just pulled up MikeMooneyham.com/1999-09-16. Vince Russo joins WCW. This was written on September 16th.
That's what I thought, bro. I was pretty sure it was September.
Yeah.
And then because, bro, I know when we went to WCW, we didn't start writing the TVs right away. I know that for a fact, bro. There were a couple of shows before we started writing, but I could have sworn it was around that time too, bro. But for some reason, that was the date on my Wikipedia. So like I was just going by that date. If Mike Mooneyham wrote that in September, then I mean we were gone from the WWE for 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, this would have been 16 days before that pay-per-view in the UK.
Bingo. There you go. Bro, that's why bro, when I heard there was a WWE pay-per-view called Rebellion, I swear I never even heard of that. I didn't even know what that was. But that's what I mean, bro. These are the things I mean, because Triple H, he's with the WWE and he has that platform, then he could just sit back and say whatever he wants. And bro, you know what the sad thing is too? Let me tell you what the sad thing is. Jeff, when they did the angle with Stephanie drunk and they went through the drive-through, right? I put that over. I put it over. I said, guys, I thought that was a great idea. I really think that was creative. That was clever. I had nothing to do with that idea. Me and Ed didn't write that. And I even put that over at the time. I thought that was a great, tremendous idea. But that's why I'm saying, Jeff, this was the very first time I'm like, what freaking amnesia? I never heard of such a thing.
I don't know. It's in that box and doing the same thing for how many years in a row, and you have weird memories, I think. And I don't know. He's put over, your creativity for the WCW invasion. So I don't think he would. Just in my opinion, I don't think he's going to purposely lie. I think it's what you said, where he's misremembering the facts. But I don't know. That's just very odd that all of a sudden there's a cheap shot at you. He doesn't know how to finish stories, and his evidence was a story that you didn't even write. So that's just very odd.
Yeah, and that's what I mean, bro. It's like, bro, listen, there are a lot of things like I don't say because I'm not sure about dates, bro. And like if there's a shred of me being wrong, I'm not going to say it. I only say things I know I'm 100% confident of that I know happened. This is the way it went down. These were the dates. I was even wrong about these dates, so because I'm going by my own Wikipedia, but I could have sworn we met with them in September, bro. I was almost positive we met with them in September.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that early into September, but I thought it was September for sure. But this article says it was published September 16th, so Interesting.
Yeah. So I just wanted to get that out, Jeff, because again, when I sit back and I don't say nothing, all of a sudden now on the list of the finger poke of doom, May West Hand, all of a sudden let's add on that list Stephanie's amnesia that I had absolutely nothing to do with and didn't even freaking hear of it until 2018.
Yeah, the finger poke of doom is the one that cracks me up the most, because that was actually the night that you guys wrote for Mick to win the title. It had that huge Steve Austin return, and everybody flipped over from Nitro to watch Raw. You guys were working for WWF. That was 10 months before you guys even went to WCW. The way things get, these people have no idea what they're talking about. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's like, my God, Hunter. I mean, seriously, bro. You 20 years later, you actually know what I was responsible for and what I wasn't responsible for. And bro, here's another one, bro. I mean, just for shits and giggles, Triple H never sat in one creative meeting. Triple H could not tell you during the Attitude Era where one single story seed came from. He was not on the creative committee. He didn't sit in on creative meetings, bro. He would never know where something started. So for him to just be so, oh yeah, Russo can start stories, but he can't finish them, and use one example that I literally had nothing to do with, bro.
I don't know. It's like everybody else gets to talk on these things, and you guys, you and Ed, are always left out in the dark, and whatever they say is what it is. It's just unbelievable. I don't know. We talk about it all the time, but it's like you two are the only ones that contributed so much to that company over the years, with that great team that was together, with Jim Ross putting everything together, and Austin and The Rock and Vince McMahon performing, and you and Ed sitting in the room watching Jerry Springer doing creative. You two are always the ones, the black sheep that nobody's going to talk about, nobody's going to bring back. And I just think it's wrong, man.
Yeah. And I just think, and like I said, bro, okay. Yeah, bro. Stephanie's going to get amnesia, and she's going to have amnesia until we can figure out where we're going to go. I mean, do you know how asinine that is, Jeff? If we didn't know where we were going, that was me and Ed sitting down and having a 15-minute conversation.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? It's not giving Stephanie amnesia to give us weeks and weeks and weeks of thinking where we're going. Do you know how asinine that is? That's me and Ed sitting there like this talking about it, and literally in 5 minutes, okay, this is where we're going to go with it. We would need weeks and weeks and weeks to figure out where to freaking. I never heard of anything so freaking asinine, bro.
Yeah, I think that the slow burn is the exact opposite of what Crash TV was.
Oh, I think so, bro. I mean, bro, do you remember watching the show after that where she had amnesia?
No. I mean, it's possible that they showed it on Raw. I don't remember it, but I never saw the trash can thing. I never saw the UK pay-per-views because they didn't show them here.
I didn't even know they did an angle like that. Like I said,
I mean, I'm sure they're on the network now. We could probably go watch it, but I had never seen it when it came out.
Yeah. So that's it, Jeff. I just, again, bro, before it becomes tied to my freaking name, I got to sit here and say, no, bro, that wasn't the case, Hunter. That wasn't the fact. We didn't write house shows. And, if you want to go by, Mike Moonaghan's dates, unless he was Nostradamus and he could read the future. Well, that story came out on September 16th.
Yeah, that's according to his website. So
yeah, because like I said, bro, I can't tell you I can't tell you the exact date when we went there, and I was just going by my Wikipedia, which could have. I did find out though, bro, that that Meadowlands date was definite. Well, it said that Meadowlands was October 4th.
Yeah, that was also the night of that Benoit Brett match that went like 3 segments. Was October 4th, so I don't know if that helps the memory. I always thought it was September 28th, somewhere around there, that you guys went. But that's just odd that
double check that Meadowlands date, bro, because that will tell you when we went.
If that is wrong, the September 16th, then he is Nostradamus.
Yeah,
or he's just got the date wrong on his
website. Go to that WCW Meadowlands, Jericho Rock.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
I guess that was called the Continental Arena. Because I looked that up and it said the date of that was October 4th. So I just backtracked.
Okay, yes, October 4th, 1999.
Yeah, I do know for a fact that that was the show that we had written. And I had to call Vince the night before because I was in an airport at 12 o'clock at midnight, and he was expecting us to be in Jersey the next day. So I know I called, and if you back that up one more day, October 2nd, that's when Ed and I, on a Saturday, was meeting with them at the same time this freaking house show in the UK was going on that we had nothing to do with.
Yeah, that's just an odd story. So I guess Mooneyham must have the date wrong, but I mean that's off of his website. But either way, I mean,
yeah. I mean, if that was the date of that that show we wrote, our very very last show, that was the same weekend.
Yeah.
So it looks like the night of that show, Ed and I were, well, I was literally in Atlanta. It was a Saturday, and then Ed came the next night.
Just nuts, man. The I don't know. There's a lot of things that just get out there and become fact, like you said, and just over the years, I'm sure you just ignored these things, like whatever. They can say what they want, but now it's like it's fact for some of these people that weren't even like born. There's 19-year-old kids or whatever tweeting us all the time about stuff they hated that you did, and they weren't even born yet. So it's just it's nuts how these people hear these things, and all of a sudden you're responsible for everything awful that ever happened in wrestling, and anything good, well, that was Vince McMahon.
Yeah. Bro, you know what's funny? I was remembering today because we put up castrating the marks for the a podcast one today. And and I mean the numbers, that it's doing today has been great so far. I mean, it's really been great. And we are approaching 20 million downloads. 20 million downloads. And let me tell you why I remember this, bro, because I'll never forget this. Before Pyro and Ballyhoo, okay, bro, when I was just dabbling a little bit, or it may have been when Pyro and Ballyhoo just started or whatever, bro, I was just getting into podcasting. I was just learning about YouTube and like all this stuff. You know what I mean? And I remember I was just getting my feet wet, bro, just getting members to sign up and just figuring out how to do Google search and all this. And I'll never forget, bro, right around that time, freaking Mike Johnson said, "Oh yeah, go ahead, washed up television writer, with your 1,000 YouTube views." I'll never forget that he said that, bro, because I was just breaking into this. With your 1,000 YouTube views, nobody knows who you are and nobody listens to you anymore. And I'm looking today, and we are approaching 20 million down. And that's a legitimate number, bro. That number is coming directly from Podcast One. The same people that have given Adam Carolla his numbers. That is a legitimate number. That number is there. That number is not being made up. That number is not being added to. We are coming upon 20 million downloads, bro, on Podcast One, which I think is like just freaking incredible.
Yeah, and it's people watching this that support us. It's all because of them. I can't thank those people enough for listening to us every single day and spreading the word and giving us their feedback and telling us what you like and telling us what you don't like and getting so involved in the shows. Like I get tweets all day today about the castrating the marks episode. It's just awesome reading this stuff.
I asked Curtis Cole last night about graphic porn.
I saw the tweet. Yes.
Yeah. And he said to me, bro, I guess what graphic porn is, according to Curtis, we all know Curtis is a nut job, but according to Curtis, he says it's like real physical porn, real aggressive porn type of stuff. That's what he said graphic porn is.
Yeah, I don't know, but I liked how Humphrey Jacobs said, well, if anybody would know, it would be him.
God, bro, which is funny because if it is like graphic and violent and stuff like that, that's why freaking Meltzer likes it, because he likes New Japan.
Well, I don't know if you saw, but we're getting tweets from our brand members who've been asking him what the difference is, and he's blocking them.
Oh, well, bro, that's the thing, man. If you make a statement like that, somebody's going to freaking call you out and say, why in the world would you make that freaking, that's not a normal reference, bro. Like, why would you make, that was almost, you were trying to let us know something, man. Like, that's what that was. Why would you ever say that, man?
I don't know.
Yeah. Jeff, tell them, though, if they're hearing this and they haven't seen the free castrating yet, just tell them one more time about that.
Yeah, if you're stumbling upon this video and you don't listen to us, we are on now 7 days a week free on Podcast One. All you got to do is go to russosbrand.com, click the Podcast One link at the top, or download the Podcast One app, which is free also, and subscribe to Vince Russo's The Brand there. You get a new podcast every day. On Mondays, we got Lions, Tigers, Bears, and Disco. With the Disco Inferno, we discuss all the news and rumors in the wrestling world for the week. Vince and Big Vito LaGrasso do a show on Tuesday on Podcast One called Getting Color, where they get into really a lot of specific topics in wrestling, the nuts and bolts, concussions, very serious issues. Wednesday, we have the Raw and SmackDown review, and we got Stevie Richards on that show with us. Bin Hameen. We discuss Raw and SmackDown every single week. You can get that free. Thursday, Vince does a show solo called That's Life, where you really get into some personal things about life. It's not a wrestling show. It's an everyday life, feel-good show, life lessons that a lot of people enjoy every single week. And then Friday is you and the star maker Kenny Bolin, Bucket Full of Chicken Necks. Great reviews for that show. I think you guys have done 4 episodes of that now. And now we got 2 shows on the weekend. You and Vito's wife, Noelle, spilling the Teen Mom tea. So if anybody listening to this likes Teen Mom, or you know people that do, direct them there. And then Stevie Richards, Ben Hameen and company do the Conspiracy Horsemen every Sunday now, where they talk about just conspiracy theories and really delve into some stuff that they'll get your mind thinking. But all that stuff is free on Podcast One weekly. Just go to russosbrand.com.
And Jeff, tell them how they can get on Castrating the Marks.
Yeah, Castrating the Marks. We said it was up this week today. We had an episode up on Podcast One, but that is normally a show that you only get on the Realm Network, which is our video version of all those shows I just described. They come out earlier on video, and you get Castrating the Marks exclusively, and you can be on that show. And we got a lot on this YouTube channel. If you go to the Castrating the Marks playlist, there's about 26 archived episodes up there where you can see. In almost every single episode, we have a listener that comes on, and they introduce a clip to Vince and castrate the guests with them. And how they get on the show is because they support me by getting one of my t-shirts at prowrestlingtees.com/Jeff Lane. And when people support me, I like to do something nice for them. So they buy the shirt, they get to come on the show. So if you would like to be on that show, you can do that as well.
Yeah, and also you can follow me on Twitter. That's really the only social media I do, at the Vince Russo. You can follow Jeff Lane at JeffLane22. Our email addresses are on our Twitter accounts if you need to reach us. Jeff, I thank you for taking the time out on a Friday night, bro. I just wanted to get that out there so I could nip it in the bud before, the whole weekend. People send me the video and I'm getting asked a million times, what do you say, Vince? What do you say? What do you say? There's what I said. There's my statement. Take it or leave it. Like I said, bro, I'm too old to try to convince anybody of anything. I know what I wrote. I know what I didn't write. Yes, I wrote Beaver Cleaver. Yes, I thought Beaver Cleaver was absolutely freaking brilliant. But people didn't have the balls to see that thing through because they were afraid of sponsors and advertisers, which I can understand because it's a business. I'm not ashamed of doing that. I had no problem doing that. I think it would have been tremendous. Yes, I put the belt on David Arquette. Yes, I put the belt on myself for 3 freaking days. I don't regret anything that I did, and I freaking own everything that I did. But if I didn't do it, I'm not going to own it. And Triple H, I did not write that. I'm not responsible for that. I didn't even know it happened until now. Of course, you're not going to retract it, but that's okay, bro. You know why? Because that puts you in the Meltzer category. That puts you in the Keller category. That puts you in the Ryan Satin category, where you just say things, whether they're true or not, revisionize history, and you never retract when somebody calls you out. And that's okay, bro. But what happens over time is you lose your credibility. So that's why I'm here now. You said something was mine. And I'm here to tell you, no, bro, it wasn't mine. I had nothing to do with it. Okay. If you wanted to do the right thing, you should retract it. Or if you have any proof whatsoever that it was mine and I did write it while I was in Atlanta at the time, bro, come on here and tell me face to face, that no, Vince, you did write this. I know for a fact. Here's what happened, because all of that is bullshit. So, bro, the bottom line is I'm going to write it off to you making a mistake, because we all make mistakes. But with mistakes come retractions. And, I don't expect you to do that, bro. Didn't expect to get invited to Raw 25. I do expect the revisionist history to continue, because what else are you going to say, bro? What else are you going to say when the product was once so good and now the product is oh so bad? What are you going to say? The WWE is not going to say, you know what, guys? Look at the freaking numbers. In 1997, 98, 99, we were a hell of a lot better creatively. They're not going to say that, bro. They're going to tell you now wrestling is bigger than ever. It's making more money than ever. More people are watching than ever. And again, bro, it makes you look foolish, because the numbers are there for anybody to look up. But I'm rambling, Jeff. I know you want to get back to the Olympics. I thank you for taking the time, bro.
Absolutely, man. We could do a whole series on these, honestly. The electrified cage, Samoa Joe getting kidnapped.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, all these ideas that weren't yours that you get.
Every single idea in wrestling that you didn't like, I came up with. Every single one of them, bro. But yeah, we could do it. Maybe we should do, bro. I mean, freaking Samoa Joe was pissed off at me for God knows how long, because it was Eric Bischoff's brilliant idea to kidnap him in a freaking train. You talk about not knowing where you were going with something. Okay, but Samoa Joe was pissed at me because I never buried Eric for his terrible idea, because we were a team and we were writing together. So, when I'm presenting it to Joe, I'm not going to tell Joe, oh, Joe, by the way, this is Eric's shit idea. I don't freaking do that. So for freaking years, the guy's telling me I ruined his career with a freaking angle I wasn't even responsible for.
Yeah, and then all the smarks in the crowd with the Fire Russo, and you were the only one trying to stop the freaking cage.
Yeah, the electrified cage. Yeah, bro. I literally went back to TNA literally days before this match. They had already planned it. They already knew how they were going to do it. I guess it was something that was over in Puerto Rico. And, and that's why Dutch and Jeff were talking about it. And I remember, walking in, I left TNA. I just went back, and this was the first thing they were discussing. And I was sitting there saying to myself, really, guys, knowing the capabilities of TNA, this isn't the WWE we were talking about. They probably could have pulled it off and made it look really good when you look at the Inferno match with the ropes on fire and everything. So with the WWE's resources and money, they probably could have pulled that off. But with TNA's resources and money, I just sat there and said, "Do you guys have any idea what this is going to look like?" And of course, it was horrible. Fire Russo, yeah, okay, bro. I came up with the electrified cage with TNA's budget. I came up with the electrified cage, but yeah, Jeff, we could talk about these things all day freaking long. And like I said, you know what, bro? I swear to you, I don't give a rat's ass. But it's like, if I don't say something, then my name starts being associated with all this shit. And then for the next 5 years, I got to freaking read about it, and I got to freaking hear it. Yeah, yep. Bro, I came up with clunkers in my life. I've admitted my freaking clunkers, bro. Okay, if I could have done the dog kennel from hell, and like Al Snow doesn't even blame me for that. And I'm like, no, Al, blame me for that, bro. Because I didn't look at, I was looking at the perfect scenario. I wasn't looking at what could have happened. So yes, I have 1,000% ownage of that. I have 1,000% ownage of the match with Sting and Abyss, where you had to get to the platform and rise to the heavens, and the match was over. was a bad idea. And that's the thing, bro. That's what people don't understand. When I was writing, sometimes 2 shows a week and hours and hours and hours of television, bro, there's going to be some bad freaking ideas in there, bro. Trust me, there's going to be some bad ideas. Jeff, I've never said this before, and I'm going to tell you now. And this is the funny thing. Jeff, do you know, again, looking at ratings, this is going to be very interesting. I don't know if I ever told you this before. When you look at ratings, bro, Jeff, you know what never draws? It never drew at WWE, it never drew at WCW, and it never drew at TNA. You know what never drew, Jeff?
No.
When there was a tournament.
You know what? You have said that before.
And Jeff,
and that was odd to me because I remember the Mayhem tournament in WCW, the big 32-man tournament. I thought that was fantastic. The now I don't know if you're talking about pay-per-views, but the Survivor Series.
No, I'm talking about TV. I'm talking about TV.
Okay, yeah.
Because Jeff, here's why. It makes perfect sense. When you're booking the tournament, a lot of the matches are cold.
Yeah,
a lot of the matches are cold and people aren't into them. But Jeff, the reason why I'm bringing that up is, Jeff, there were just some times when we were creatively spent and we said, bro, let's do a tournament this week. Knowing that we were going to take a hit in the ratings, but we also realized we needed a break. And I mean, you weren't going to take a week off. That wasn't going to happen. So there were times we said, bro, let's do a tournament just so we could kind of take a breather. And I knew that those tournaments were going to do less of a number. So, I mean, like I said, bro, I take freaking full responsibility for the, for bad stuff that I wrote, for doing tournaments I probably should have never done because I knew, but when something's not freaking mine, don't freaking pin it on me because I'm going to freaking call you on it, bro. And that crap, whatever happened in the UK I had nothing to do with. So thanks for coming on here and doing this with me, Jeff.
Absolutely, man.
All right, everybody. Have a great rest of your weekend. We will be back in full swing on Monday. Vito on the Realm Network and Disco on Podcast One. Thanks for your support, everybody. See you next time. Same bad channel.